want to confirm, just want to see that we almost a quorum. I just counted briefly, but if I can maybe just get confirmation if there's maybe more than one person on the call at that linked up. So we can just count to see how many we are to form a quorum. Anyone with more than one person viewing?
No, I'm alone by myself. Good morning, everyone. Thank you.
Morning, Busi. Okay, so can I take it that everyone that's linked is sitting singularly?
Correct, Richard. Morning to everybody.
Morning, Casper. Okay. Yeah, of course, our constitution does allow for 25, so we just need to count. Luis is counting quickly.
Thank you.
22, yeah, so we need another 3. Anton, are you on? You back?
Yes, yeah. Morning. Good morning, everybody. Sorry for the delay in getting connected. Richard, thank you for handling the quorum verification. Yes, I'm back. Richard, just in terms of if we don't reach the 25, the Constitution allow for what time period, then we can commence with the meeting.
1 hour. Yeah, one hour, and then if we don't get a quorum within 1 hour, then we can proceed.
That's correct, yeah.
Yeah.
So we'll just give a bit of time. Thanks.
Okay.
Good morning, Richard. Good morning, Anton, and everybody else. Just on
Morning,
the
George.
just on the 1 hour stipulation, at the previous AGM, we got the agreement of all the participants to shorten the 1 hour to 15 minutes, just for time's sake. So I propose that we do that again this year.
Okay, thanks, George, for that proposal. So if everyone's happy, if there's someone that's not happy, then raise your hand or not, or reaction hand on Zoom. Okay, then I think we with that proposal, George, then we'll Anton wait. Is it 15 minutes, George?
15 minutes, yes.
It's exact time now, 15, 10:15, as we speak.
Okay, so I think as per George's proposal and Anton, then if everyone's happy, then we can proceed.
Good, thanks very much. Thanks, Richard. Thanks, George, for saving some time there. Yeah, I just want to first start say thank you very much. Today is the QASA Annual General Meeting. We're starting at 10:15 with the allowed quorum as proposed by the platform. I just want to start off to say welcome everybody. If there's anyone in the audience that would like to express a special welcome to someone else, please you can take the floor if you want to do that. But I just would like to welcome everybody to the meeting. I'll give a second or two just to allow if anyone wants to add any special welcome. If not, then the next point is apologies and attendance. In terms of attendance, I think we've covered the quorum situation, that we are procedurally allowed to proceed with the meeting. Anyone with specific apologies or any apologies received by the office, Richard?
Yeah, Anton, we have 2 on our side, Simon Manganye and Welile Mabanja.
Morning, Richard and Anthony and Anton and everybody. I just want to say on QAWC side, we've received apologies from Sandy Lindeke and Akona Makaluma.
Thanks, Ismail.
Thank you. Anyone else? Okay. Thank you very much. And again, welcome and thank you for taking time out. I know in different parts of South Africa today, we have different weather conditions. but I think everyone will spend their Saturday morning productive in the AGM, and thank you for your interest. The next point on the agenda is approval of the minutes of 17 September 22. As part of the attendance, the minutes have been circulated. Are there anyone to want to make comments about corrections? And maybe any comments regarding corrections, and then if not any corrections, I would like then maybe just open it for the floor for a proposal on a second for the minutes of 17 September 22.
Morning, Chair. It's Anthony Galina. I propose the minutes.
Thank you, Anthony.
Morning, Chair. I second the minutes.
Morning, Vuzi, and welcome. Thank you, Vuzi. So point number 4 is the presentation and adoption of the QASA audited financial statements, March 23, and the treasury report. I think we'll split it up, but I think it will allow Richard as the appointed treasurer at that point in time. I know that Richard has now moved to become the GM from April, but at that point in time, he was the treasurer. So, Richard, thank you very much for offering to handle that portfolio in terms of the presentation of the audited financial statements. Thank you, Richard.
Yeah, thanks, Anton. Yeah, I will do both at once. I will start with the treasurer's report and linking that back to the financials that we need to adopt. So the combined report will be forwarded to everyone who wants to go through it again. So the combined report will have the chairperson's report, the treasurer's report, annual financial statements, our annual report, and the region's reports also all included. So if anyone wants a copy of that, it will be made available. So starting just a brief report on for the financial year 2022-2023. So the year has been productive for QASA, and we're reflecting on the commitment and empowering our members with disabilities. And it is worth noting that we did encounter some challenges, and we navigated through them with sound governances and careful stewardship. Our revenue stayed consistent, as I'll show you now on our financials, on our income and expenses. And we remain proactive in seeking new partnerships to sustain our mission. Normally partnerships and donations and is cyclical sometimes, but we're looking forward to new partnerships and we're forming new ones all the time. On the expenditure front, we managed to significantly reduce our operating expenses, mainly due to staff resignations that we didn't immediately replace. And that was a cost-saving exercise also on our side. But having said that, from my side, I want to extend heartfelt appreciation to the staff that dedicated their time and efforts to continue the cause of QASA, and the collaborative effort has allowed us to transform 2 consecutive years of deficits into a surplus for this financial year in. As mentioned last year also in my report, we kept a keen eye on some of our projects that didn't make significant revenues, such as our Rolling Inspiration and Dave Lewis Lodge. And having said that, the board has devised strategies to make these projects a little bit more profitable, or at least break even. So I can report also in terms of financials that the Dave Lewis Lodge will be profitable in the foreseeable future. And also our QASA offices has been repurposed with most of the staff working remotely now for fixed rental, with all the space fully occupied. So definitely a reliable revenue stream will be coming in that will support our essential services for our members. On our cash reserve side, we remain strong in our cash, and that demonstrates that we as an organization will remain resilient in weathering the storms in challenging times. And we know times are tough at the moment, but we, in terms of our cash reserves, can still continue if things really get difficult. As mentioned, we had a surplus for the tax year end, and that equates to about just more than R1 million. And I'll give a breakdown of that a little later. But what I can also just add to that is to say that our financial position remains strong, and we owe a lot of that to our project revenue that comes in. Because what we've done is the exercise to see how much of our project revenue sustain our operational expenses, and it definitely helps, staying close to our projects and services, our strategic objectives, and remaining clear on our vision and our goals that we want to achieve for our members. I think this lastly, I want to thank our office, the finance committee, our bookkeeper, Kayleen, has always been exceptional in supporting us. Kayleen has also been given notice, unfortunately. We will be moving to a different service provider, but I want to thank Kayleen for all her hard work and dedication in keeping QASA's financials intact. And also our auditors, BDO, for their commitment to keeping our financial affairs in order. We are filled with enthusiasm and optimism for another fruitful year as we've repositioned ourselves and just aligning ourselves with sustainability objectives. So we remain positive for the future. So that is my report, and I want to thank also just the exec also for their support in being proactive and supportive to the office. And I trust that there will be continuity with the board, and the support will continue for the next term. And then I'll move straight on to the financials. I will bring it up. I will share the financials so everyone can have a view. But like I said, it is available for everyone to view at own leisure. But I'll just focus on the detailed income statement and expenses also linked or tied to that. If I can just share the screen. It will come up. Should come up. Okay, there we go. So yeah, just to confirm, if I will just give it a bit of a zoom, given the figures. There we go. So just the detailed income statement. There's all sorts of other facts and figures also aligned to the financials, but I just want to focus on comparing year on year the income statement and also the expenses. So from 2022, we can see to 2023, there has been a slight decline in our revenue for our events, donations, project revenue, and some of the grants that we receive. But it remains consistent. It's not big gaps in terms of revenue received. On our other income, there has been a slight increase, especially around our investments, our dividend income, our interest received, and all sorts of other income, rental income. There's other training and services that we normally have and deploy. So what I just want to focus on also maybe on this, as I've mentioned, with our repurposing of the doors and the QASA offices, that the rental income will significantly also increase in the next few months, which will bring in sustainable income and increase our revenue stream. From just on a summary side on this page, our expenses actually decreased. And as mentioned, that is significantly due to staff reduction and a few other activities that we envisioned. So that is also a good sign that we are, very prudent with our finances. And the surplus deficit that I've mentioned is about R1 million. And if we dissect that a bit, it links to our investment income that we carry across with our cash reserves. So that's always a good sign that we can have a surplus due to our investment income. We've been quite fortunate in that regard. On the expenses side, there's as we can all see, there's quite a lot of activity from the expenses side. Sorry, I just want to skip My mouse is a bit sticky. And there's a whole host of expenses. I just want to emphasize the action I mentioned about staff and how the staff beautifully came together. The existing staff beautifully came together. As you can see, employee costs dropped from R1 million before to 450,000 in the current financial year that we closed. At the bottom, we can see the significant change in expenses. And having said this, also as part of our financial statements, the auditors have highlighted that we have unspent project funding that was up until the end of March. So it doesn't mean that we haven't spent the funds. This means until the end of March we haven't spent funds, but I can safely say most of our funds has been spent, and we're looking at new funds that we are currently deploying. So all in all, a very well-balanced statement in terms of the surplus that we have. But I do want to disclose, Anton, is also that the auditors has given us a qualified audit. There was one finding that our donations wasn't very, how can I put it? There wasn't a clear schedule put together for our donations. Some of the donations we put down as projects, which should have been donations. And because of that, they see it as some sort of error and not as a real misstatement. But because of that, they can't give us an unqualified audit. Doesn't mean we committed fraud or anything. It's just that we need to be more mindful of our accounting practices. But that learning has been taken. But all finances are in order, and in general, the auditors are happy with our finances. Hence, we are able to present it here today. So that is just highlighting some of our successes in terms of the finances, and I think as a going concern, we are able to cover all our immediate expenses and future expenses. We have no real liabilities also, and our fixed assets remain strong. And yeah, QASA is in a very healthy financial state, if I can add that as an opinion. Thank you. Any questions or comments from the members or stakeholders, associate members, Anton? Shall I say when you have a question or comment? Oh, in the chat. Inquire about benefits for employees. What benefits do employees receive? Vani, currently the only benefit is the staff pension fund. That's the only benefit currently that employees receive. Other than that, there's no over and above benefits to that. And the only other value proposition to the staff is that there's a tiered approach to leave. If you are employed a certain amount of years, you get extra leave. Yeah, but we keep it's a very simple, straightforward value proposition to the staff. I trust that answers your question.
Richard, if I can come in, yeah, thank you. I'll add a little bit to the question as well, Richard, just now. But I think as from on the point of the agenda, I just want to firstly say from the board and the Exco specifically, a word of appreciation of you in delivering as treasurer the financial position as we see it currently, as at the end of March 2023. And it's really a turnaround strategy that had to take place. And I think we can successfully say that we've reached that point where the platform has been created for a stable environment. There's, as you stated, that there's enough cash reserves to allow us to proceed and with a stable environment. With regard to the qualified audit, I do understand it, and I think it's something that in your new role as GM will be resolved and fixed for the next audit. So I don't see that as a major concern. However, they do give us a qualified audit. I don't think it's a material qualified audit in the sense of that any potential fraud or anything has happened. So it's just a correction that will take place. So just from my point of view, thank you very much. And, well done in terms of the turnaround strategy. I think it bodes well for us to move forward in an environment where there's enough reserves to proceed with the projects that we would like to roll out to membership. Then maybe just on the point of the benefits, I think, as a permanent employee, all staff have access to leave, sick leave. They have the pension fund that they contribute to, also as part of the pension, or is rather a retirement fund than a pension fund. They also have the benefits in terms of incapacity or disability benefits. In a case where an employee becomes disabled, they would be able to have income security replacement scheme that will cover them as part of a disability benefit. So it's a normal kind of benefit structure that any other employee would be enjoying in the open labor market. So I think it's suitable in terms of that. All the other leave arrangements, it is all in line with best practice in the industry, just in terms of the question around benefits. Richard, anything that you would like, any questions that from the floor regarding the financials?
I don't see any. George?
Perhaps just for clarification, Richard, can you put up the financials again and go to the income side of things?
Okay. Here we go. Particularly want to point.
I want to go to the income side of things, the detailed income statement right at the bottom.
Yeah.
The total.
Okay. Okay.
Right. If we can see that no, don't worry. I've answered my own question.
Okay.
Thanks.
Thank you, George. Anyone else? Any other questions?
Richard, down to the bottom of the expenses.
Yes. Expenses.
Yeah. I noticed something and I can't remember what it was. You can scroll down right to the bottom.
Yeah, it is at the bottom. Can you see it, George?
Okay, I see it now. No, that's fine.
Okay.
My apologies for wasting your time.
No worries.
George,
Thanks,
George, no, yeah, I agree with you. Thank you. I think we all want to satisfy that we're happy and confident about the statement. So, there's no rush to schemes over things. I think it's everyone must be happy. So I think, as you said, Richard, everyone will get a copy of the financial statements, all attendees, and it will be distributed.
Yes.
In the absence of any other questions, can I ask for a proposal to move on the financial statements in a second?
Thanks, Casper.
I second.
Thanks, George. Thank you very much. Yeah, thanks for that point. The next point on the agenda is point 5, the appointment of auditors for the 23-24 financial year. Any recommendations from your side, Richard? I know that you fulfill now the role of the GM, and there will be a new treasurer appointed. But any recommendation on your side, and maybe just the reason for or the motivation to your recommendation.
Yeah, thanks, Anton. Yeah, I think from the officer side, I think just in terms of continuity, we would like to stay with BDO, as we've been with him for a while and they know the organization. Yeah, just in terms of continuity.
Chairperson.
Yes, Wuzi.
Yeah, no, I support that we continue with video because they are still doing well at the moment. So there's no need to change something that works. Thank you.
Thanks, Wuzi. I think just from my point as well, I think they've been our auditors, they understand the environment, and it's not that they just accept any answer. I think they do delve into the data and information, and then make sure they get the answer. So I feel confident that if they create an opinion, it can be relied on. You know, it's not something that they just do in order to complete the audit. They do a thorough job, and yeah, also I think as part of the process, thank you to Kayleen and Richard and everyone that's involved as part of the process. As I think previous managers in QASA know how strenuous this process is. Sometimes frustrating. Sometimes you want to really pull your hair out. But yeah, thank you for going through the process and that we can complete it successfully. Thanks to all involvement.
Thanks, Anton.
So we then basically conclude that we will then stay with BDO in terms of the appointment as auditors. Thank you for that. The next point on the agenda is proposed constitutional changes. You know, I think on the Manco, we are privileged to have a person like George that is really, I would call him a constitutional expert. So George, without ado, you know, I'm happy to allow you just to kind of touch on some of the proposed changes, and then procedurally, Richard, if you or George, you can guide us from a constitutional point of view. What is the process for adoption of the proposed changes? It has been circulated in due time, so I think those requirements have been met in terms of the circulation requirements. And yeah, George, I'll hand over to you.
Thank you very much, Chair.
Sorry, George. Before you continue, do you want me to share it on screen, or is it not needed?
Yes, you can share on the screen.
Okay. Sorry, let me just double check. Where is it now? There we go. I'm going straight to the first proposed change.
Please, and that's section 8.
Yes.
Okay, let's just leave it there. Just before we discuss section 8, there were a few minor cosmetic changes where we changed from COO to general manager and so on, which we're not going to discuss here. It stands to reason. Section 8, the reason for the change in a nutshell is that in the yellow section, the 2020 constitution as it stands, QASA was almost held at ransom to the viability of the regions in terms of the Manco membership, because the constitution said that the regions can elect one member, but then QASA can elect an equal number of members to the members elected by viable regions. The problem that arose was with, firstly, a couple of years ago, the Eastern Cape disappearing off the scene, and then KwaZulu-Natal having had its issues, its problems, that Gauteng South and Gauteng North were in financial difficulties and were being threatened as regions. The quid pro quo situation of QASA members, quasi-elected members versus regional elected members meant that the fewer viable regions there were, the fewer quasi-elected members could also come into play, and that gave us a risk that we could sit up with a ManCo of 2 or 4 members only, and that was, let's say we sit with a situation that for argument's sake only the Western Cape remained viable and all the other regions were not viable as regions anymore. Then QASA would sit with a ManCo of 2 members only, which was not suitable. So what we did is we changed it to say that there can be up to a maximum of 10 members. That the regions get first preference. So if there's 3 viable regions, there's 3 regional members. If there are 8 viable regions or 6 viable regions, then the regions get 6 members. And the shortfall is made up by QASA direct elected members. So QASA gets the freedom to fill up the shortfall. So we will all sit with a maximum of 10 members, of which in an ideal situation, currently you could have 5 regional members and 5 quasi-elected members. But if things progress and more regions come into play, like currently the Western Cape is looking at empowering the Northern Cape to become a region of their own. And if they come in, then the regional members could become more, let's say up to 6, and the shortfall of quasi-elected members would only be 4. So it allows QASA the security of having a ManCo that, in the absence of viable regions, you could still have a reasonable ManCo membership. That's the one side of things. The other side of things is that with quasi-elected ManCo members, we could go all out to look for people of expertise and bring them aboard as fully fledged members rather than associate members as we've done in the past. The rest of Section 8 stays very much as it was. Before we move on, are there any questions? I hope I've expressed myself clearly.
Thank you, George.
And I take it that absence of questions means acquiescence and agreement.
Thanks, George. Nick, you can move. I think you can move on. Yes, yeah.
Richard, if you can move down to the next section. I think it's section 11, if I'm not mistaken. There we go. Under finances, the yellow section still spoke about checks drawn and all sorts of things that have really fallen by the wayside as banking became more digital and sophisticated, and checks disappeared off the scene in favor of EFTs and things like that. So we just updated this clause to be more current and to get rid of wording that weren't relevant anymore. Richard, I don't know if you want to add anything to that.
Yeah, George, I think you said it all. It's just in terms of keeping us current. Yeah, if it is redundant, we just want to keep the constitution as clean as possible.
So those were the two major changes. As I said, the rest were all just little cosmetic changes of the titles and wording and so on. Can we go over to the process of voting, Chair?
Yes, George. Yeah, I think the question is in terms of any constitutional changes. We need a 75% majority. Am I correct? Is that the correct assumption?
75% majority.
Of the people present at the AGM.
Yes.
So
if there are any dissenting voices, that they are raised, and if there is no dissension, then we take it as a unanimous approval.
anyone that is wanting to raise objections against the proposed changes?
And then there was a hand, but it dropped again. I'm not sure if it was maybe Livonia. No one. I don't.
I think a couple of seconds of silence, meaning allowed
No.
opportunities for.
Anton, Louise says
Yes.
she can see Caleb's hand is up. I can't see it on my side, right? Caleb? Nothing. Okay. Nothing, Anton.
Okay. I think in view of that, we've allowed opportunity for people to read the proposed changes. George also explained the proposed changes, and in the absence of any objection, I would then move with George's recommendation that is anonymous approval of the constitutional changes. Thank you very much for that. Thank you. Point number 7 on the agenda is announcement of regional representatives. Richard, maybe I think if I can ask you to handle point number 7, and then also the additional nominated members, point number 8, for the representative. You can proceed with point 7, please.
Okay, thanks, Anton. Yeah, so just from the regional reps side, there were 2 AGMs held from communication, and then we got confirmation that the other regions will still the AGMs are pending. Having said that, the current constitution and then policies is not very clear on in terms of notification or submission to QASA in terms of representation. What that kind of gives us the indication that the current, for instance, Gauteng North and Northwest, that hasn't committed representatives yet. Those 2 will then stay on until the AGMs has been held, and if there's a new election or new nomination, then those people will then be swapped out. So currently Ivan and Simon will continue until the AGMs has been concluded, and then if there is a new person that will step in, those people will then will then move in. Having said that, in terms of the nominations or the representatives, we do have Anthony from the Western Cape. Sorry, just hold for me, please. Sorry, I just need confirmation of Gauteng South. Pauline, are you here? Joseph? Joseph?
Hi everyone. Gauteng
Yes,
South
Pauline.
is Joseph Maxwell.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm here, Richard. Sorry, man.
Yes.
Technical issues.
Okay.
I'm present. Thank you.
Okay. Thanks, Joseph. So just to confirm, Joseph will be will be replacing Pauline. Yeah. So that's those are the two. It's Joseph and Anthony. They have been confirmed by the AGMs as per the policy. Simon and Ivan will stay on until the AGMs has been concluded, and then those are the call it elected representation from the regions that's the current structures that's in place. Anton, any questions on that?
No, thank you, Richard. So that we can confirm. I think thanks very much for that. Then, in terms of the election of the additional nominated members to the ManCo, would you be able just to lead and just now advise current members plus then the nominations received?
So are you talking about individuals, Anton?
Correct, yes, Richard.
Yes. Yeah. So we have Nauman Kadongo from the Northern Cape, submitted by Anthony. We have Ari Silas by Anton, and then we have Vusi, that is nominated by Ari Silas. And then we have Simon, but because of the technicality that Simon's AGM hasn't happened yet, we by default will still keep him on because he's serving his period out as representative of Gauteng North.
Correct. So in addition that, so in terms of the new policy, the new constitutional changes, and George, you can just confirm that. How many? So we have 4, and I understand it. So there's 4 regional reps. Then that allows then for 4 independent plus 2, meaning to make up the balance of 10. Am I correct? I just want to make sure that everyone has got the same math calculation in their heads.
Absolutely correct. Absolutely correct, Anton. If we have 4 regional representatives that are eligible, that leaves 6 vacancies that can be filled. And at the moment, we have a proposal for 3 vacancies, Vusi, Ari, and who was the third one? Richard, the chap.
It's Vusi. Yeah. Sorry, George. It's Vusi, Ari, Nauman.
Yes. And then currently the standing ones are myself and Anton.
Correct.
So that leaves you with 5 representatives. Plus 4, giving you a total of 9 out of the 10.
Correct.
So am I, George and Richard, am I correct to say that there wouldn't be a need for election because the nominations fall within the ambit of the new proposed constitutional changes?
Correct.
Correct.
Then,
yeah, sorry, we have Pauline's hand that's up.
Yes, Pauline.
Thank you, Chairperson. This thing of nomination, it gives us like a rake, you know, we don't understand it clearly. I'm trying to switch off there. In our AGM, ne, Gauteng South, I was elected as the Gauteng South representative, ne, and then Joseph was elected as to be the additional member, whereby here in this AGM of QASA, maybe he can be elected as the second person. Is how we understand it in Gauteng. Can maybe George or Chairperson clarify this for us? Because I think me and Joseph were a little bit lost about this nomination thing.
George, would you be
Yeah,
able,
yeah.
thanks, Pauline, would you be able to clarify the
Yeah.
the separate roles, regional representatives versus individuals that serve in their national independent capacity in terms of their expertise and knowledge?
Yes, Chair, we have we now have still 4 regional representatives in terms of it is now Paulina and Simon and Anthony and Ivan, which leaves you with 6 vacancies, of which 2 were already filled by myself and you, leaving 4, and the 4 we initially only had 3 new, but now Joseph coming on, and if Joseph submitted his CV in good time, that makes him eligible. That brings us up to a total of 10, which still means that we don't need an election process. And if it is accepted that Joseph will bring in a level of expertise and that the AGM members feel that he should be eligible as a quasi-elected member, then we must consider that.
Yeah, George, maybe just a point of clarity. So we received Joseph's CV, but not an official nomination. So I think, in the spirit of what you are proposing, then we can table it now.
Yes, because Pauline has now stated that.
Yeah.
Actually, there wasn't. It is a nomination.
Okay. So Anton.
So I think
sorry, Anton, just to clear up the communication lines. Joseph's the communication received from Joseph was not the elected representative from the region, but additional representative, the individual representative, and Pauline is the elected representative.
Okay, so I think that clears it. George, then your numbers will then add up, that it falls within the 10 maximum allowed members for Manco within the nominations and representatives from the regions.
Yes, it does, but I see Ari has a hand up, so if we can give him an opportunity.
Thanks. Ari, over to you.
Good morning, Chair. I just want to inquire then whether the due processes were followed for the nominations of the individual members, having been received at the office, CVs attached, and paperwork in order. I mean, I think it's really important that the governance of this meeting, when electing people, is ticking all the boxes.
Ari, just to answer your question, so the nominations presented were all done formally. It was just Joseph's one that was just a CV.
Perhaps if I can add something here, I think in a sense of cooperation and good faith and willingness to work with one another, let us waive the fact that there wasn't a formal nomination, but that the nomination was intended as explained by Paulina, and I propose that this is accepted. But if there are any objections, then this proposal must be put to a vote.
I think the floor has heard George's proposal. And are there any objections to George's proposal?
Yes, Chair. I object. I mean, we have to decide as an organization if we just manipulate the processes or if we don't, because this is the first time that I've seen this happen. And so the way forward, the board will have to take responsibility for this particular process. There's no reason why the co-option can't happen, but if this is how it works, then I object to the way that it works.
Thanks, Ari. I think, George, your proposal, I heard Ari's strong views on it, and I think he goes back to the board's responsibilities. I think also, if I hear Ari correctly and I hear you correctly, is inclusion without compromising the procedural governance. And I think co-option could be a midway to be considered as an option to include your sense of collaboration, George, if I'm correct.
Yes, we have two opposing views, but we are in an AGM, so it isn't up to the board, the management committee to decide. It's up to the entire membership of the AGM to decide. And we need to put Ari's point of view, which is an absolutely, from a governance perspective, an absolutely legitimate point of view. We need to put that against my sort of, let's call it a softer approach, more forthcoming approach. And the current members representing QASA here in this AGM should vote on whether we should follow Ari's strict governance related approach or my softer approach. And the count of the vote I would recommend is 50% plus one, makes the decision.
Richard, procedurally, how would you like to proceed? Do you want to have a bit more debate in terms of other views to get majority views, or do you want?
Yeah, Anton, I think in terms of procedural duties, I think Ari's point should be taken into consideration, that we follow due process, and then in the spirit of keeping Joseph on the board, the option is to co-opt. Yeah.
Thanks, Richard. I see Ari, your hand is up still, and Joseph, your hand as well.
Chair, the vote then should be whether we use the Constitution today or not. That's the vote, Chair.
Yeah, and I think, Ari, you actually say the obvious, which is we have a constitution.
Joseph's hand is up, Anton.
Joseph, yeah, Joseph's hand is up.
Thanks guys for opportunity to talk. I think maybe from my side and from our region as Gauteng South, I think maybe we didn't understand the way you were recruiting these additional members, or how this was supposed to be nominated or done, because we did our the way it was proposed in our region, that we needed to elect someone who will be of additional to assist Pauline. So that's why my name was elected there. But if it gives some questions and misunderstanding, I can ask for my name to be withdrawn. So for the purpose of this thing to go on, because we don't want to find maybe we are at the wrong side, not understanding your procedures. Thank you.
Yeah. Anton, I think there's clarity now. So Joseph is the backup for Pauline.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, that makes sense. Joseph, firstly, I think thank you for stepping in and clarifying your understanding. And it's really appreciative about your, clarifying your intent and meaning, and that you will be assisting. It's appreciated. I think following the clarification, then, Richard, would you then basically just read the names then as a final in terms of the board representation, as we have it for the additional members, including the regional members? If you can just read all the names and then to conclude the total makeup of the ManCo.
Okay, yeah, so as it stands now with the current constitution and policies, it will be Anthony from the Western Cape, Simon from Gauteng North, Pauline from Gauteng South, and then Ivan from Northwest. And then in terms of the individuals that was nominated and approved, it is Will Nauman. Not that it really matters, but he's from the Northern Cape. And then we have Vusi, Ari, and Anton, and George.
Thank you. Can I conclude then that is the full makeup of the ManCo? And I appreciate everyone's input, and I also appreciate the frank discussions around the process. Sorry, yes, Pauline.
Sorry, Pauline.
Yes, Pauline.
I wish Richard can repeat those names. When he mentioned a person name, will he please mention the region where the person is coming from, please, so that we can be able to follow up correctly.
Okay.
Even those who are co-opted, they need to state which regions are they coming from, please.
Yeah, so maybe I think thanks for that, Pauline. Maybe what we can do is all those that has been elected now onto the board, if you can maybe just open your cameras so everyone can see you. So just for the sake of, I think our members might not know everyone, and just highlight who you are. Thanks, Pauline, for highlighting that. So on the videos now, we have Anthony, we have George, we have Ari there, well, off his head, Ari. Will Nauman, Pauline, that's showing there as Masentle, Vusi, George is up, Anton, there's Anton. Okay. So yeah, so in terms of regions, Will Nauman is from the Northern Cape. He's call it the new face on the block. The others should all be familiar for those who's active in the region, or part of the organization. Yeah. Thank you. Over to you, Anton.
I think Pauline with a bit of a tongue in the cheek. Maybe Pauline just wanted to check whether we still look the same. Pauline says COVID, I think everyone else has moved on, and even our ages have added up to it. Anyway, I think thank you very much everyone for handling the election process. I mean, next point on the agenda is the chairman's report, and I'm not going to be long and just quickly refer to one or two couple of points, and then we can proceed with the meeting. So firstly, I think as part of the period that passed, I would just want to say thank you to the board and for all your input and contributions during this period, and also energy and commitment in re-establishing QASA's brand and getting ourselves into a sustainable position and platform. As a board, we lead the strategic matters, and we hand over the day-to-day operational matters to the office. And I'm happy to say that with Richard joining on the 1st of April, we're now capacitated to provide the service that we would like to provide to the members. And that gives us confidence going forward, and also gives us the ability to serve the members and to create new opportunities for projects. Then from a financial point of view, as Richard discussed in detail the financials, we have currently just over 8 million in cash and cash equivalents, as well as a 3.75 million in investments. That's only clearly stated in the financials that's been done by an audit by BDO. We are in a positive position, but the one important thing, it doesn't allow us to be complacent, specifically on the revenue side. The revenue has decreased compared to the previous year. In the same breath, as Richard illustrated, the expenses also decreased. However, moving forward, the focus will be, and it's one of the key performance outcomes for the GM and the office, is to look at the revenue side. That once we've established now a efficient platform from an expense point of view, the revenue and fundraising will be a primary focus going forward. The employment and the work readiness program, I think, has been identified as one of the key projects, and I can say that there's been a total change in how it's being delivered, with the necessary focus in terms of the operational side of it, and we're already seeing an improved results and a better return on investment for the funders in terms of the work readiness program. And also we can see more and more members that participate in the program actually get into employment, whether it's only for a temporary point of view, but eventually also secure permanent employment. As we know that one of our key deliverables as QASA is to allow members to become sustainable and self-sustainable via income generating opportunities. Rolling Inspiration is QASA's mouthpiece. Great work done by Mariska, and it's a valuable tool to communicate to our membership and to the public and everyone, funders, etc., about the achievements of QASA and what we want to achieve, and to communicate our intent in the industry. In terms of the QASA delivery model in collaboration with the affiliated regions, that's a work in progress, and I can see already a number of projects have started to happen. And I think the closer cooperation between the regions and QASA National is happening with a structure now in place, with Richard spearheading it. There's already the Northern Cape Partnership via the Western Cape region. Anthony's done great work there with his team, and also that Richard with the new outreach program, reaching out to members and regions that normally where we would have had absence, is becoming now more open, and there's definitely a movement regarding the touching the member at the end and having QASA's rollout process in collaboration with the regions. And I think that is one of the action items and activities that's probably going to be mostly attended to in this year coming. And I think for me it's just successful collaboration between all stakeholders is really to improve the lives of our members. And we believe that with the new outreach program, the collaboration regions, bringing more people as part of the delivery channel, we can enhance people's lives and create more opportunities. And one of those aspects in terms of employment and sustainability. So I think that's really all from my side. And I just want to thank you, the board and the office, in terms of the support given as part of achieving our mission and vision. Thank you. The next point on the agenda is a presentation of the regional reports. I think, Richard, if you want to maybe handle the logistics. First region.
Yeah, so we have two regional reports, Anton, that is the Western Cape and Gauteng South. I want to propose that they go free verse on the reports and highlight some of the activities. In no particular order. Are my eyes catching Anthony?
Thanks, Richard. Good morning, all. Richard, free verse. So we just did off the cuff and not referred to the report. Am I correct in saying that?
Yeah, unless you're comfortable, what do you want the report up?
I put it up, but I won't read through it. I'll perhaps just speak to each point to save some time.
Okay, let me find it quickly.
Thanks.
Okay, Mariska will share for us. Thanks, Mariska.
Thanks. I'm sure Mariska will get it down to the right page. I just need to see the headings. All right. So we compiled this report for the QASA AGM. It's I'm sure everyone will have it in their pack, so you can read it at your leisure. But just to say that the awareness campaign, which saw our small team visiting schools across the province, was very well received. It was partially funded by QASA, and saw us visit 38 schools, and we have always been invited back, so we take that as a positive. We talk about disability, but we also talk about poor lifestyle choices, as many of our members become quadriplegics or paraplegics as a result of gangsterism and substance abuse. We did peer support visits at our provincial facility, the Western Cape Rehabilitation Centre, every 6 months, and on an ad hoc basis to various of the private hospitals or rehab centres in the region. What's really great is that it introduces our new members to the QuadPara brand at a very early stage in their journey. The self-help centres in the Western Cape, We have 3, and the reality is the last few years have not been easy. Not just from a financial point of view, but there have been increased instances of security breaches, which has also weighed quite heavily on the residents, and of course the load shedding, as it does for all of us. It presents quite serious challenges, but they have all continued to provide quality accommodation and care to their residents, despite these challenging circumstances. We do have a few vacancies at a few of the self-help centres. So if there is anyone looking for accommodation, now's a good time to apply. We just made sure that we communicated with our members, via newsletters and on social media, just to maintain a presence, and so that we weren't quiet and that our members could be in touch with us. We had a medical suppliers bank, which works very well. So we get members to donate any excess supplies that they have to us. We collect them, we store them in our office, and then when they're members in need, they contact our office and we distribute them to whatever medical supplies we have. And that's worked very well, making a difference in people's lives. We did some wellness days with Coloplast, a couple of activities where we try and get our members out into the fresh air, a nice environment and a change of scenery. One of the initiatives that we had, or that we did, included guest speakers on many matters relating to wellness, which went down very well. Advocacy and lobbying has taken up quite a lot of our time, mainly on a local and provincial level, and it's something which our members don't always realize is being done, but a lot of work goes into it behind the scenes, and we did have some successes. We also, as an organization, depend quite heavily on partnerships and relationships within the sector and with various stakeholders and role players. And I think that that's part of our strength, is that we well networked, and we do ensure that our members' voice is heard. Just some activities that we did in addition to that, and then I think if we can go down, Mariska. So casual day. Last year, 2022, we sold just over 5,000 stickers. It's an opportunity for our members to raise some funds for themselves, and obviously for our organization as well, which is always welcome and much needed. We were very pleased to be involved in the Wings for Life initiative with QASA, or through QASA, which saw the face-to-face and big events return. I know there was one in Gauteng as well, and our members got to hand out the medals to people as they came over the finish line. So that was quite special as well. And then we just listed there how our members access the QASA services, and of course we facilitate our members accessing those services which are there. So all in all, that there was a year with challenges, but we scaled down, and we focused on specific projects where we could add value to our members. Always good to have the relationship with QASA. We're always grateful for the support and the confidence that QASA have in us. One thing that's not in the report is our recent excursion into the Northern Cape, in an attempt to try and support QASA as they extend their footprint, which was very successful. And it's really, I think, exciting possibilities as we head into the Northern Cape. Thanks very much for the opportunity to report back. Thanks, Chair, and thanks, Richard.
Thank you, Anthony. Thanks for the comprehensive report, and lots of activity in the Western Cape, and reaching out to the Northern Cape. Thank you for that. Next one in line, Richard, who are you nominating? Gauteng South.
Between Pauline and Joseph. Joseph, are you there? Pauline?
I don't know where is Joseph. I try to reach. The past year have been extremely. Can you hear me, everyone?
Yes, Pauline.
Let me switch off the TV. The past year have once been extremely difficult year for association, our independent living center, and mostly our members have been affected. Since COVID-19, we have been struggling with raising funds and even doing advocacy and lobbying in our region. So most of the awareness project has been cancelled. We realized that in the past year, we couldn't participate in the Take It Tax campaign. And yeah, we didn't participate in Take It Tax campaign, and Mandela Day celebration were cancelled in our region. However, we are very much proud to say that Sabat has been very much supporting the region as well as QASA. As last year we have participated in the race. However, this year there is nothing that has happened. And the other thing that we're committed to do in the region is our casual day where members participate to sell the stickers. And then we are very much proud to say that the school awareness campaign is going very well, as members are eager to participate in making awareness about spinal cord injuries. And then through the assistant of QASA, we still give members the assistive device in the form of space wheelchairs, cushion, and batteries. And then the previous year, Sabat has supported about 24 members that have received the batteries so that they can get their independence. And our association is very is in their situation with finances, as most of the funders, they don't fund. So we're trying to get ideas to find out which are other avenues of bringing funds into the organization. We are very much pleased to announce that we've got a good relationship with some of the rehabilitation centers in Gauteng, namely the Kissington, the Riverfield World, and other hospitals where we get our members who are coming to stay in the self-help centers, but some of the members from the self-help center, they go to visit patients in the hospital where they try to motivate and tell them about services that QASA is providing. A peer counseling program and personal assistance services with the Department of Social Services continue to be championed by REMA laws. I think they are helping a lot for members who are not staying in the self-help centers because they supply caregivers with them. Although this year we have received challenge from Department of Social Services where it wanted to cancel that service, but at least it restated, so members are getting that service back. Many of our members suffered serious health challenges and were supported by their families, peers, and the social workers. Sadly, we lost most members due to illness. As we reflect to the past year achievement, it's important that we consider those who were instrumental in contributing the organizational functioning. Who's Richard, please, you are too fast for me. You are moving too fast, please. contributing the organization for me. Because
Apologies,
I'm trying
Pauline.
to, yes, I'm trying to point as well as with my, so I see you are moving the screen up and down, so I get lost. As we reflect the past year achievement, it's important that we consider those who were instrumental in contributing to the original functioning. The support provided by the committee members and hardworking staff has been tremendous. A special word thanks need to go to our national office and QASA board for the support, advice, guidance during the distress time. Ms. Rizdirelda, our dedicated social worker for support for our assistant living centers and individual members. The board members of Gauteng SARS for steering the association through rough and difficult time. We will continue using every issue, no matter how serious and sensitive, to ensure that at the end of the debate, we should emerge stronger and more united than ever before. Thank you very much, Chairperson, for giving me the opportunity to present this report.
Thank you, Pauline. Thanks for that. And yeah, thank you for the clear and well laid out report. I appreciate it. Thank you for that. Richard, I assume that, once the Gauteng North and Northwest have their AGMs, they will forward their reports for us for noting that one can maybe circulate at that point in time.
Correct, Anton. Unless you want to allow them maybe a few moments to just reflect on the year that's been, if they are available.
Yeah, happy if they're available and want to do that, they can do so with pleasure. Thank you.
So anyone from Gauteng North and Northwest that's here today that maybe wants to just reflect on the year that's been? I don't see. Yeah, Simon has given his apologies. Ivan, Kosi, Meyer, anyone from Northwest? No one? Going once? It doesn't look like there's any representation, Anton.
Thanks, Richard. Yeah, I think maybe just a note to them to remind them about their reports as soon as they have their AGMs. It will be nice to know how's it going in the regions. Yeah. Because obviously from a board point of view, they do have representative seats, and I think it won't be unfair to require them to participate in the board activity and also to be the spokespeople for their regions on board level. So I think it's something that we will communicate to them about. But anyway, thanks for Western Cape and Gauteng South for your detailed reports and always good quality. I really appreciate it. The next point on the agenda is 11 before closure. We allow you, Richard, to just to kind of highlight some of the main achievements on QASA side. Thanks.
Yeah, thanks, Anton. Yeah, I'm gonna read off the annual report, but I'm just gonna skim and scroll and highlight some of the stuff that really stood out. I don't want to say we ticked most of the boxes, but yeah, our projects and services continued as per normal. But there will be some highlights that I will reflect on now. So I will be sharing. So I think maybe, yeah, just first and foremost, just acknowledging the outgoing management board, which most of the persons will continue on. And we're looking at, yeah, I don't think anyone else that's only, yeah, I think everyone, the whole board will continue with Bonam that will be joining the fold. So just acknowledging the leadership and direction from the board in terms of steering us and the vision and the mission that we stand for. In terms of our membership, I think we are stable in 5 regions. Some of the governances in some of the regions still need some attention, but we are mindful of them and wherever possible, national office also supports those regions where activity has gone a bit slow. But we are mindful of them, raising themselves up again, and we support where we can. Our projects, our flagship projects like work readiness, driving ambitions, and assistive devices has continuously gone well. And also as we've mentioned, as Anthony has also mentioned, the Rolling Inspiration magazine is now free to our members and available on the website, and we'll unpack that also a little bit later. Just further to in terms of our resources that we've mobilized, we are very mindful and thankful to our partners and pro bono services that we receive. CE Mobility, we have shareholding with CE Mobility and Ukamba wheelchairs, and those are unrestricted funding that we will distribute back into the members. Norton Rose Fulbright has been awesome in terms of guiding us in terms of our legal activities, and wherever we need them, they're always available legally. News Clip, keeping us abreast of our activities in the news. There's Tracker that's keeping our car safe. National Security, Pool Magic and Caswell has been supportive at Dave Lewis Lodge, which is now we have discontinued that services in terms of bed and breakfast. So we're thankful for Pool Magic and Caswell for their generous support. And then also Torito, Dialanerd, our IT services. They've always been excellent in terms of supporting us when it comes to our IT maintenances. And then Nedbank Payroll Giving, that's supporting us excellently, and we redirecting those funds to our schools programs, the school visits we do for disability awareness and inclusion, and my school always taking over with the contributions from our members. And then just want to highlight, mentioned in the financials and the reports regarding our QASA properties, 17 Hamilton Crescent, which is our national office, 6 Dupree Road, which is Dave Lewis Lodge, and 5 New Haven, where the QAWC offices are working from. The 17 Hamilton and Dave Lewis has been repurposed to bring in a lot more stable income from rental space. And that funds will be redirected into much needed basic services to our members, such as assistive devices and rural development and basic services that our members need. Also to note that our QASA Training Center, which is the Victor Dates Foundation, that is also now being, will soon be utilized for call center training for members with disabilities, and also a nice income stream will come off that. So there's definitely a lot happening in terms of our properties, making use of it in terms of revenue as a revenue stream. The QASA staff, just from my side, again, a big thanks to the QASA staff, has been excellent in execution and really being efficient with their capacity, and a lot of times stretched in terms of capacity. Mariska, Kylene, Chad, Ivor, Durban, Derek, that has unfortunately been retrenched. Also, Fanyana, that's been retrenched, and our admin assistant, Luyanda. And also a big thanks, and I just want to acknowledge, I'm not sure if Danny's on the call, but I just want to acknowledge Danny Aldrawi in Edenvale from Dave Lewis Lodge that has really come and supported us with our revamp of Dave Lewis Lodge. He's really put his hand up, supported us big time in executing on that project, which was an enormous task. Between myself, Louise, and Danny, we really took the bull by the horns there and repurposed Dave Lewis for future sustainability. Also, thanks to Charles, who was our housekeeper at Dave Lewis Lodge. He's also been unfortunately retrenched and already busy with some other activities that's going to keep him economically active. So that's the staff. And then just quickly, also our organogram has not changed much, but myself as general manager has slipped into the position of keeping the office afloat, with Louise, who's put her hand up as office manager / project manager. is doing an excellent job there, keeping everything going in the office, managing the drivers, admin assistant, and also Danny, who's in Joburg. So we have our recruitment officer, which is the nursery, the bookkeeper, which was Galen. That will be an outsourced service provider going forward. Chadley, and then our drivers, and Mariska, who looks after our communications. And then just in terms of our outreach services, and this is a role that's going to become quite visible in the future. We are mobilizing a lot of our members on the ground who put their hands up and has really shown initiative in wanting to support QASA. I'm seeing some on the call today and some that's also physically available today. In KZN, Northern Cape, Eastern Cape, people has put their hands up to wanting to support QASA and being the eyes and ears and hands and feet in the communities, and that role will just grow and really become a visible stamp of what QASA wants to achieve in the communities. That will be linked to our Bags of Hope project that we are partnering with Coloplast, and that will just go from strength to strength. I just want to also encourage the QASA members not to forget that we make contact on all sorts of platforms via the telephone line, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn. You know, you can find us. Share, comment, engage. We want to hear from you, but there's all sorts of platforms. Via the regional associations, there's different ways of getting in touch with us. Email, SMS, just make use of the opportunities to get in touch, share your ideas, share your feelings. We are a member-driven organization, so if we hear from you, we can improve your lives with our vision. The regional associations support. I think that what has worked well, especially in the established regions with Gauteng and especially Western Cape, is we were definitely made use of you with events and campaigns and deployments, never shy of reaching out, and also not shy in terms of supporting us on the ground. The one thing I want to highlight here is also the support given with the schools visits and awareness campaigns done in schools, as they've also reported on. That has been a huge success and continuing to be a success with the schools. And the funding that comes from there is also helping the regions in terms of supporting themselves. As also mentioned from what Anthony and Pauline has mentioned, the self-help centers are taking strain. Some of them financial strain, and some were on the brink of closing down. We're always mindful of that and looking at sustainable ways of keeping them going. And also in partnership, obviously, with the Department of Social Development to support the self-help centers there. In terms of our services, that continues to grow. Access audits, site visits, sensitization workshops has really come to the fore. And also a special thanks to Mandy, if she's still on the online, for always fighting the good fight there at Bid'Air, Nascolossal, Johannesburg, George, Durban, Cape Town, all over the country. We tallied, and it was more than 234 staff that were trained by Bid'Air. It's a big turnover in terms of staff, giving us a view of the conditions where the people work under. But Mandy has been excellent in execution there and really been tolerant and patient with getting that service to the companies. So managers from our side, again, thank you for keeping the QASA flag flying there in the airport industry. Thanks, Mandy. And then provision of mobility and assistive devices. So that has been an ongoing exercise. I can also confirm here that the board has deliberated and discussed and robust debates around mobility and assistive devices, and it is seen as a basic service that we need to render to our members. And the board has approved of our current assets as funding and cash reserves to put forward to support our members. So there is funding available for assistive devices. So feel free to apply, and if and when necessary, we will support with that. Wheelchair distribution again and repairs. A lot of focus also on repairs. Where we can, we want to repair your wheelchair as opposed to buying a new one because it's quite costly. So if we do push back from the officer side just to manage expectations, we would try and replace a wheel as opposed to replace a complete wheelchair. But applications can be submitted, and we will definitely look at Saybat, as we mentioned now, Saybat has always been excellent in supporting us with batteries for our members' power wheelchairs, and that relationship is going strong, and we're thankful for that. Our members must just stay mindful that that is still available and need to tap into it as it's needed function for many to stay mobile. Our information distribution and publications, which is still going great. The more we engage with external providers and agents and all sorts of different entities, these become crucial in terms of communication. We have been highlighting a few of these the past few months also in terms of the importance thereof. I'm just looking at the AD card that we've recently also distributed, autonomic dysreflexia, the reimbursement toolkit, we've launched, relaunched that. We had webinars on that. So Bona disability has been always one of the key drivers in getting information out to into the public. And wherever possible, if you need information, come engage with the office and make that freely available to our members and anyone that is in need of knowledge on spinal cord injuries and disabilities. I also want to highlight just one small, as I mentioned now, that has been relaunched. There has been a webinar around it. The video is still available for anyone that wants to maybe have a look at it and see how it can support you in getting the necessary step-by-step guide in approaching funders, especially the medical aids, for reimbursement of medical expenses. So that has been an excellent exercise and a great job done by Mark Brand and LCB and Ari. Also want to thank you, and also Mariska, just revamping that toolkit and making it a little bit more user friendly also. So again, reach out if you want to make use of that. And also just to as part of some promotion in that, we are looking to continue with the projects around access to health, the project. There will be another webinar that will be hosted by Dr. V Wilson around my bowel, my bladder. Any questions, comments, discussions will happen on the 28th of September. More information will be sent regarding that. So look out for that. It's always useful to gain as much knowledge as you can regarding bladder and bowel function and how to live with those. Again, just re-emphasizing the need for communication. Our line is still open. We are now active in terms of our communication. So wherever possible, please reach out. The more we hear from you, the more we can improve your life. One of the popular ones, definitely, and this is an ongoing exercise to get this better down, is parking discs. We still get a lot of information around parking discs, and we're trying to get this really better down in terms of parking usage also. I know Ari is doing a lot of work in the background, really formalizing parking, especially for people with disabilities. And then just want to again emphasize, I think people tend to discount the use of social media and websites. There's great traction we can get and great influence we can make, being present, especially on social media. We have been growing our social media presence, and it has really shown great value in terms of people reaching out to us and we reaching out to our audiences. Our website is growing pretty much on par with our other platforms. Facebook is doing excellent, Twitter, LinkedIn, we've revived again. So again, if you're on these platforms, engage with us, connect with us, share, comment, like all those beautiful things on the social media. it's a great platform where we can influence and really change the narrative in terms of what disability is all about. Something I just want to also highlight is our database development. We in the final stages of getting our database up and running. We will be sending a survey out for our members to update their data, so we can better engage, have better insights of what's going on with our members, and in terms of engaging with them on all sorts of different projects and services. So the more we know about you, the better we have, the better insights we have, and the better we can service you as our members. The education fund, a big thanks to Red Bull also in this regard. We have been able to sponsor some of our members with education, and that has been going excellently. The more people engage us, the more we can support you. And that's also one step in the right direction of becoming economically active. I also just want to emphasize again the Bags of Hope that we will be relaunching. You can see there's a new look already of the Bags of Hope, and we really want to get this going and really assist new members at the point of contact where we know where the need is, and a lot of informational material will be put into that Bag of Hope to make them feel that there is hope and make informed decisions and real decisions that impacts their lives. The Driving Ambitions project is going strong. We have been we renewed contracts with our service providers, Olympic and Wilile, also from Bowento Driving in the Western Cape. So that has been going strong. I think the one positive and highlight that I can mention from the Driving Ambitions project was the renegotiation of the contracts with the service providers. They will be making use of their own cars, which means our current fleet will be available to extend the services to other provinces. So 2 cars are now available, and we're looking at Eastern Cape and Gauteng North and South to really expand our reach. If anyone is interested in this project, please reach out. We are really growing the footprint in terms of getting the Driving Ambitions project out to more members. And then, like I mentioned earlier, regarding prevention programs, a big thank you to our 3 regions that has been supporting us really greatly. Just from the last count for the year, more than 20,000 learners has been engaged and informed about people with disabilities and inclusion and safety, and in road safety. And I think that will always leave a lasting impression and change the perception of people with disabilities. And it's definitely one of the programs close to my heart in terms of getting people to understand that we are humans just as anyone else, and we form part of the community and society, and we can do whatever we want and how we want. And in terms of support, we just want people to understand that we are individuals too. So that program has been going well, and a big thanks to Gauteng North, South, and Western Cape. And then I mentioned about our research project. Established the relationship between QASA and Coloplast. I have been fortunate to be part of the SASCO conference this year, where we presented the future of QASA, and also represented QASA at the clinical advisory panel, where we are at the forefront of developing and establishing guidelines for bladder and bowel function, and that those engagements has been going great. In being able to lobby medical schemes and administrators, and also out of that was, as I mentioned, born the reimbursement toolkit, and we are going strong with that. And thanks, Ari, for also spearheading those conversations with your experiences, and just supporting us in terms of lobby and advocacy around access to health. And our current project will run until October 2023. And so far, we are up to date with our objectives with the contract that we have with Coloplast. Yeah. And then just want to highlight our work readiness program that has been growing excellently, and we've really become robust in our interviewing process And because of that, we are really seeing great leadership potential from some of our candidates, and really potential in terms of people wanting to become better versions of themselves. From July last year to August this year, we have taken 60 candidates through the program. 24 has been placed in some sort of opportunity, work opportunity. But I think what I want to highlight here is also that there's been great potential shown from some of our some of the individuals. As mentioned, Paul Nauman, that's now part of the board, came through the work readiness program. There's others that will also be co-opted and that will support the organization. I'm thinking of the guys in the Eastern Cape, Brent, Nathaniel, them that's now putting their hands up to support QASA in the Eastern Cape. They all come through the work readiness program. So there's definitely a great breeding ground for future leadership and people that's showing that they want to change and see change happen. So that's definitely one of the projects that's near to my heart in seeing how change can come and the impact it has on not just the person but the society at large. So thanks for the board for always supporting the program and where it's going into the future. There's some of the stories from some of the candidates in the last cohort. Just it's all positive and people are grateful for the opportunity and knowing that they can make better versions of themselves and become future leaders and impact not just their own lives but those around them that they can impact. With having said that, we have seen the need for support to the work readiness program. So we've designed a masterclass that we will run every 3 months. We had our first one in June, which was quite successful, looking at key elements of what creates professional success and highlighting those and really emphasizing and creating the platform where we can have conversations around proper communication, conduct in the workplace, time management, and interview skills, because we found that is crucial in you getting a job or becoming economically active. So every 3 months for all the work readiness alumni out there, we will be hosting a masterclass where we're just gonna rehash some of the skills and if you've learned and just build on those successes. And then just lastly, also we do employment workshops. We invite potential employers to come and see what we offer and also how they support us, partner with us. Thanks to everyone that's contributed to that. I'm thinking of Anthony, Lisa, Daneshri, Sandile. There's a few others, Rastin, Aridin. Thanks to everyone that supported us with the employment workshop and really getting the information out there to the employers. Sometimes we take for granted that people know what we know, often it's not the case. So I think this is also going to be crucial in us keeping everyone engaged and really sensitizing the workforce about people with disabilities. Yeah, I think I'm going to stop there and just thank everyone for patience, and we look forward to another great year of reporting back on our mission and our vision. Thanks, Anton.
Richard, yeah, thank you very much. Listening to your report is quite amazing, just to remind yourself what QASA is busy doing and involved with. And every time, I think, going through that report, looking at the things, you just get re-inspired again. So I hope on this note, we leave the AGM with a re-inspired position. I think we also have 3 new board members, in addition to the current board members. And yeah, thank you for your interest and involvement. I think going forward, I think we know where we want to go, and everyone can be reignited. And I think, Richard, this report gives a good background information to focus in terms of our outcomes. So thank you very much for that, and also everyone is involved in putting it together. Louis, Mariska, office, yeah, thank you very much for all of that and the hard work during the year. So I think that we've reached the end of the AGM. I think the last point is closure. I just want to thank everyone for your endurance of this meeting. We start 10:15. It's now just after 12. Thank you for enduring all the conversations and the feedback, and I hope it was valuable. We will, Richard, you can maybe just give us logistics. We will reconvene as a Manco soon. Whether are we taking a break, etc. You can just let us know the logistics around it. But I think officially the AGM is closed, and I just everybody stay warm if you're in one of the southern parts of South Africa. Northern part seems to be luckier in terms of weather, and be safe, and hopefully we'll see you in a year's time again at our next AGM. Thank you very much.
Yeah. Anton, just quickly, yes, the board will reconvene at 1 o'clock.
Thank you. Do we use the same? Will you or Louise or Mariska send us a new link?
They will,
Just to make
yeah,
sure.
a link has been sent, but we can resend it for those that's not included in the original email.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Richard. Thank you, everyone.
Yeah. Thank you.
Bye-bye.